My name is Robert Conti, and I like to garden. Well, it keeps me busy and it keeps my mind off things. It helps me to relax. So it's one of my nicest hobbies. What sparked my interest in gardening was my dad. He had a garden his entire life. He was my biggest influence. I observed him year after year and listened to his advice. He always had a garden, and I never realized how hard work it took, especially with brickwork and all the work that he did. You never realized how much work my dad actually put in. It brings me closer to my dad, so he's looking down. And I have some of his bricks. And so it brought me close to earth and my dad, who was close to the earth. The way I go about choosing what seeds to plant is, well, usually climate and availability dictates my choices, but it's usually a plant that catches my eye due to its beautiful colors. The favorite aspect of my garden is when the flowers bloom together, similar to a magnificent fireworks display. Well, I put a lot of work into the garden. All my free time goes into that garden. Well, the biggest problem is, over the years, squirrels that dig are a threat to all plants. I improved my squirrel damage prevention. They get into everything, they dig everywhere. The ability to predict and protect the plants from flooding and strong winds is important to avert damage. I use sticks to hold up the plants so they're supported, and I use certain rocks to protect the plants from floods. Even though the plants eventually die, what makes me believe it's worth restarting each year is around the third week of March, the first flowers start to bloom, and wonderful cycle starts all over again, and that continues me. That gives me the impetus to continue. The knowledge I wished I knew when I started gardening is that since many seedlings die off, starting with more is beneficial. So in the past, I didn't start with enough, so I was left with just enough to get by. So now, in my later years, I know I start well in advance with extra. I enjoy maintaining the garden because it clears my mind from conflicts of the day and has a transcendental effect. It brings me to a new level of peace. A memorable moment relating to my garden hobby is that one day a neighbor showed me a picture of my garden from a different angle that I usually shoot. I usually shoot from this angle, but the neighbor shot from that far angle on the other side. It told me we all enjoy beauty from our own perspectives. I believe this garden does have an impact on the community. And not just for humans, but for animals too. So when I see bees in the garden, I feel I created a corridor for wildlife that is also enjoyed by people. Corridors are necessary to connect. So from sanctuary to sanctuary, wildlife has to go from one part to the other to survive. And these little bits of carved plants help the bees move on to the next spot. It's just a way station, as they say, like a gas station on a highway. What I have to say to people who are interested in gardening but who have not started yet is to learn from those who are experienced and have patience. The personal rewards will be abundant. Our collective efforts have a role to play in environmental maintenance, and I like to say it's a vital and essential role to play in environmental maintenance.